Hi everybody, Dennis here from Denny Bob's RC. I'm going to bring you along for the ride so far on what I am currently working on. This is a project I started on last Saturday morning and have been working on it all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and Monday night, Tuesday night, and now Wednesday night. And I've gotten this far. Um, let's get to it. Most times I don't take you along for this part of it, but that's what I'm working on currently. Another dump truck. Imagine that. Um, this one will be a Peterbilt. Um, the paint job on this truck is what I want to call a 5 or 6 foot paint job. I am not a body man. I am terrible at it. One of these days I'll get smart and I'll hire somebody that's a lot better than I can. But for me, the 5 and 6 foot paint jobs are fine because I'm going to take it out in the dirt and beat on it. So the first scratch, I won't feel so bad. But what it is it's a Tamiya cab. I got this front 3D printed hood. Came from Semi Joe, I believe. Yes, Semi Joe. And same way with the bumper. I think this came from Semi Joe. The dump box is from Reg up in Canada with RCP. Also his walking tandem, solid walking tandem, so it eliminates springs, as well as his rear bumper that comes with his boxes. You know, he gives you a choice of what bumper you want and taillight configuration, which I'm going to take all this back apart again and drill and tap and put a pintle hitch on the back of this truck. In the meantime, this is nowhere near completed. I don't even have the transmission in. I've spent most of the time trying to get the cab to somewhat fit properly on the chassis, and I'm going to call it good enough. I have clearance enough that I can steer with the super wides front and back. Maybe they need to be slid a little more forward, but then I got to start grinding on the bumper to make it fit, and I'm going to call it close enough. I mean, I don't know. I started looking at some different Peterbilt trucks, and it looks pretty close. Close enough for me anyway. I will probably get a Peterbilt emblem to put on the side of each hood. But it is a Tamiya cab, and then this is glued to it. This is 3D printed. I spent most of the day on Saturday and part of Sunday priming, painting, sanding to try and get it somewhat smooth. 3D printing, you got to start with a real good body filler primer, and you let it dry and sand and fill in all the scratches, and then get a decent and I probably didn't get decent or good enough material or paint, I mean, and I put a primer sealer on it, and then I painted over it with white. Unfortunately, when I was painting with the white, I'm using a rattle can. I think it's called Krylon Fusion. I had a mishap with the nozzle, and it screwed up and spattered a bunch, and yeah, it always happens. I think even if I used a paint sprayer, you know, like I'd like to someday maybe get a small sprayer, paint sprayer, airbrush kind of thing, and do some of this stuff, but I'm afraid with even that may have a nozzle issue or something, so it happens. But I do have the brass chrome air horns, polished aluminum visor. I bought that off eBay. The air cleaners came off eBay, as well as the grill and headlights. I have to get there'll be an amber lens that I'm going to put on the outside for turn signal, and then I'll get the lights wired in for the headlights on it. I probably should have dropped them down a little bit further. That's the problem. You get some of this stuff and you got to keep guessing, by golly. So I actually drilled and tapped the grill and have an M3 bolt that's got these tightened up to the side of the grill. Some of them might even be fastened to the hood, but I just wanted to fasten it to the grill. Less structural integrity to the hood itself, because it is just 3D printed plastic. It's actually pretty decent. I know True Scale Truck Stop also does this type of hood where you can get like a Peterbilt hood, and there's several different places. And I could have got it from True Scale or True Scale. No, not True Scale. Yeah, True Scale. True Scale Truck Stop. Never mind. I had a brain fart there for a second. But I got the factory differentials in there. Nothing spectacular there. I've got the big boy drive shaft in between the differentials. I use the big boy drive shafts. I get them through True Scale Truck Stop as well. And I will be laying this truck once I get the transmission all mounted in there, figure out what I need for drive shafts, because my transmission is a 3-speed transmission. Some people don't like the RC four-wheel drive motors. I've used a lot of them, and they're reasonable, and they seem to last. I beat the hell out of them. So, but then I do put a 4-to-1 gearbox on the back, gear reduction. So none of the stock drive shafts are going to work anyway. But I got that all assembled and put together. Yeah, it's just nonstop different things to do. I do have plans on putting lift axles. I said that correctly, lift axles. I'm going to see what I can get in here for a fuel tank and battery box and steps on the other side, and see how many, if I can fit 2 or 3. 2 I'd be happy with. 3 I would be ecstatic. But this stuff's all got to come apart, put back together, and trial fit and error, and that's the joys of doing customs. I'll have this truck tore back apart completely again before I'm all done. I probably shouldn't even have painted the hood and that stuff, because I got to be real careful when I take that apart. Yeah, it's not perfect, but I don't want it screwed up, scratched or whatever prior to completion. But if I do, at least that's the first scratch, and I'll be done. I've got some pipes. I'm going to have some ordered from RCP for it. I would love to find another set of grand hauler pipes, the factory ones, and mount on here, because I do like the fact with the grand hauler pipes that I can slide the pipes off and put them in my storage cases. That way I don't have to make such a tall storage case, to carry these around in, which I do. Many of you seen my videos on all my storage cases and whatnot, but yeah, I just kind of I will probably be running another 1060. This possibly might be getting a Lasso 4T light and sound kit put in it. Maybe. I haven't decided yet. I got one secondhand from somebody. That's brand new. He just decided not to use it, so I bought it from him at a reasonable price. So maybe I'll put that in here. But then I'll have to worry about getting tail lights and turn signals and headlights and all that stuff wired in there. Nice thing with this Peterbilt hood, it's huge under there, compared to the Tamiya hood. So you have all kinds of room in this day cab configuration. One thing I did do, some people don't, they'll put a solid back in the cab. I won't do that. I like to be able to bolt my cab down. Nice thing with this box, you can lift it up. I can't probably do it right now. Yeah, the way things are situated, I can't do it right at the moment, but you can lift. There's enough gap in that cylinder that you can remove the back of the cab and take the battery in and out. I can't grab a hold of it right now because not everything's fastened quite right. So, but it's just kind of dummied up there to kind of show you guys my progress so far. It's all gonna have to come back apart again, and I'll put it back together, part apart, put it back together. I did raise the cab a little bit because, man, when I had this sitting down where it normally would be, the fenders were darn near rubbing on the tops of up here, and I didn't like that. So I did raise the cab. I actually took the plates that are here and flipped. I had two of them, since there's usually use one of these screw attached plates for the back part of the cab. I just flipped one up on top of each other. Normally this is where the cab would be bolted, would be down here. So I just raised the cab just this far. But when I get my tanks and stuff in here, I'm probably going to put a skirt in here of some kind to just kind of a filler plate. I've seen some different trucks are that way too, but this is the removable plate in the back of the cab. And I'll put the slider deals in it, and that way I can take it out. That way I can get in there without having to unbolt the cab every time. I probably will put some cab interior in it, depending on how much room I got. By the time I get the ESC, the receiver, I'm probably going to go with a 10-channel receiver right off the bat. That way if I do go with the probably with an i6S radio or an i6X, one or the other, and do it that way. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out so far. I just had some automotive pinstriping that I put on there, and then at one time I was going to try and paint the cab red to match the box, but then I was going to have to try and rematch this red. I had some paint ordered. It's never came in. I think the company lost it somewhere, so I just gave up, and I said, to heck with it. I'll paint it white. That'll cover up some of my shitty bodywork and conceal it for a distance, so to speak. And I go with white quite a bit. But the red pinstriping kind of matches the color pretty close, and I put some pinstriping around the bands just to kind of give it some accents. I put some pinstriping on, and maybe some people think it's gaudy. I'll be honest with you, I don't give a shit what people's opinions are. I think it's cool, and I like the way it looks, so I'm happy with it, and that's what it really boils down to, because I'm not making it for anybody to sell to. I'm making it for myself. So that's the intentions anyway, unless when I get it done and it seems spectacular and somebody offers me a hell of a lot of money for it. That's the only way, money talks, bullshit walks kind of thing. But they may not be happy with the quality of paint I did on it, so yeah, that's just not why I do this. I do this for my mental stability, just enjoy and work on stuff like this. But I don't think it looked too bad. I think I did okay. For the first time ever working with 3D printed hood. I have talked about getting 3D printed hoods and cab kits to make different brands and whatnot, I buy, I do a lot of the Tamiyas, and then I decal them as something different. Make some subtle changes in the hood, a little change in the grill or something, They're still downright, they're the generic Tamiya cabs, but I think it goes really good with this setup. But I had to do some adjustments. Somebody said you don't have to move the cab back. Well, I did, but I still have plenty of room. And I'll have plenty of room for my pipes to clear and everything else. So, but I am planning on buying a set of stubby chrome polished pipes from Reg at RCP and put on there. I'm debating on getting some of the aluminum clearance lights assemblies and put in there. I haven't decided yet. I do have this started out as a King hauler kit. So, and then I had Grand rails sitting here. I think I got 3 or 4 sets of Grand rails laying around here, and 4 or 5 sets of King rails. But see, I'm one of those guys, I use all the stock components. I know there's guys that do the airbag setups and all that, and that's fine. More power to you. I like that stuff too. One of these days I'm going to I have a plan on, I'm making a truck that looks like my son's, and it's going to be a night hauler, and I'm going to paint it red like his truck, and put a moose bar on the front like his truck has, and and put a 8 airbag setup in the back like his real truck is, and I'll do a bunch of that stuff. But for me, for just an old dump truck that I'm going to just beat around in the dirt, I'm going to not make it so much show pristine. It's going to be go out and use it. So, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out so far. I just figured I'd bring in. I might do once I get a couple more few more steps done. I'll bring you along for the ride and show you a few more things. I may want to do some more different pinstriping on the hood yet. I do have some nice little decals that are like fine pinstriping that I might do on here yet, and I think I got some in red. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, RCP was the box and the rear bumper and the walking tandems. That was all a kit deal that I bought from Reg up in Canada, and yeah. I got some stuff I'm going to get from TrueScale yet, and I don't think this one's going to get JHR tires on it. I believe this one's going to get Lassus all the way around, because I have a bunch of them here already bought and paid for. I'm not going to spend a bunch more money when I have so much stuff here sitting here already. And it'll get the hydraulic hobby wides on the front, and then I will do the duals in the back, the aluminum duals, and then I have a bunch of fronts, and I'll do probably the 73 millimeter low riders. Low riders, I think they're RC four-wheel drive low rider tires, because I have 6 or 8 sets of those. I'm going to use up what I've got. You know, I bought this dump box probably 6 months ago, 7-8 months ago, and I'm just now finally getting around to this part. You know, got a lot of other projects going on, and the shop looks like an absolute disaster area at the moment. And yeah, I got my cattle trailer taking up bench space, but I need to take and get some. But tonight, when I started, I had the bench completely cleaned off. I started with a clean bench, and it's a disaster area again. So, but it's getting late. It's getting late. I got to get up and go to work tomorrow, and I think I'm going to call it a night. So, anyway, thanks for coming along for the ride, and go out and have some fun with RCs, and I hope you guys are enjoying the hobby. It's been, it just keeps raining here. My outside dirt pit where I usually play is grown up in weeds and a mess. So, anyway, get you guys later.